Don't go away. You won't want to miss Jake, the 7-year-old Havanese that needs to come when called.
Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Welcome to another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I'm Denise Mazzola. Today we're going to meet Janice, David, and Jake, a little 7-year-old Havanese who is not coming when called. So let's see how we can help them. Hi, guys.
Hi.
All right, so bring us up to speed on Jake here. He's awfully cute. What kind of dog is he?
He's a Havanese.
Havanese. And remind me, what are Havanese bred for?
Circus dogs.
Really?
They can walk on their hind legs just naturally. And so their bodies are angled. How does that work?
Yeah,
Which
I don't
one?
know.
We forget.
He can balance it, and he's got strong rear legs, and his rear legs, I think, are a little shorter than his front legs.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
Yes, so they walk. So all the circus dogs that you see that are Havanese that you think have been trained to walk like that, they normally walk like that.
So I haven't seen him walk like that.
Because we haven't held something up for him to walk like that.
So he's mechanically sort of predisposed to be able to walk like that. Is there anything else? They're not hunters or
Nope,
they're
not that
just
we're aware of. Just cute little
people
dogs.
and circus dogs. That's great. All right. So what else? Jake is 7.
He's 7 years old. We got him as a tiny little puppy, and we got him in September. So his first few months of life we had to actually carry him outside to go potty because he couldn't manage the stairs because he fit in the palm of our hand. He was so small. He was a kilo, the vet said.
Wow.
You're a kilo.
Yeah.
He was 2 pounds.
And he was black.
And he was black.
Really?
Yeah, the color was, he was
Sable.
described as sable, and there's very little left of it. Little at
Did
the
you
end
know
of his
that he was
tail.
going to turn?
No.
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 So when did that start happening? Not that that matters, but
Maybe a year or so. After a few haircuts, he just kept getting lighter and lighter and lighter.
okay.
And we're like, okay.
It's like the horses that start off as black and then they turn grays and they're called grays. Okay. So what are let's outline Jake's issues and see how we can help you today.
Well, we'll make them simple. We have a large backyard, and we would love for Jake to be able to go outside and run and then just come back in when we call him.
Okay.
He never would skip outside if the door was open. He would wait for his leash. He'd pretty much wait for his leash. But recently we've had some construction going on within the house, and he has been watching the door stay open a little too long. And he turns and looks at us, and out he goes.
Okay.
And so he'll run around pretty close to the house, and then when we say come back in, he just takes off. And
All right. So he actually runs the other way when you ask him to come in.
oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. He runs way out of sight. I mean, we can't even see him.
Okay. And does he come back on his own? How do you get him back?
Well,
We look for him. There's usually a couple places he'll go. He'll go down. There's a pathway that leads down to a meadow down below. He'll go down there. Sometimes he's in the woods up in back of the garage. And once in a while he's over in the woods over on the other side of the house.
Okay.
And I just grab a stick. I never hit him with the stick, but I just walk with the stick. And when I find him, I pound the stick on the ground and say, Jake, stay, or come, or stay. It's just basically stay because he isn't going to come. But then he'll stop, and then I'll just come and pick him up and carry him in.
I don't know what purpose the stick has, but that's a funny story.
No, I don't know. I don't think he's frightened of it because he's never been hit by it.
No. Right? He doesn't chase it.
No, we keep a big stick out by the back door, and someone will yell, grab the stick! And we get it. And I'm thinking that maybe we look bigger, because we got the big stick, and he just kind of says, okay, I'm done. But we all know we all run our little ways, and he has tags, so sometimes we can hear him.
Right,
Because we hear
right.
that little dingy, dingy, ding.
Right.
But he,
And so do you do exactly the same thing that David just described? If you see him, and have you ever got him without having the stick in your hand?
maybe, only because someone else has the stick, and I might have a squeaky toy, and then
Okay.
he sees me, and I'll be like, tiki, 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 tiki.
Right.
And then
Does he come to you with the squeaky toy?
He doesn't come. He just sort of stops where he is.
He just stops and waits for you all to come and pick him up. Give him the lift back to the house. All right, so he'll stop and wait for a squeaky toy and for the banging of the stick.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. It sounds so simple.
And that's what happens every time he gets out and he doesn't come back. You go and physically get him and pick him up, and he just
Yeah.
waits and allows that to
Yeah,
happen.
we always carry him in, and whenever he gets picked up, he growls.
Oh, yeah.
But-
He does that.
Oh, really?
But he never
Outside or inside?
Oh, like we get him off the bed in the morning. That's just he just growls. I mean,
Okay.
it's just what he does.
And we pick him up and take him off the bed because he can't jump down, or
No, because he's being lazy, and we're ready to take him out to go potty.
okay,
And so we'll say, come on,
okay,
time to go. And he'll give you the look. That's right. And then you go to pick him up, and he's like, "Rrrr," like I didn't really
and he's
want to
always
get
done
him.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Does he do that any other time? Because you picked him up when we came in. Did he growl then?
No,
I don't remember.
I
Yeah.
didn't hear him.
I think he only will growl if he's content at what he's doing. Like
Okay.
he's comfortable, he's lying by the fire, he just doesn't want to move, and now
Okay.
we're moving him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. So picking him up by the door wasn't one of those.
No,
He doesn't. That's fine, and that's not an issue because he's been doing that forever, and he's never bit anybody, and we don't. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So recently, he's only recently he has started to escape with the construction workers here. But prior to that, he would hang out in the house even if the door was open for a little bit.
pretty much. If we were standing at the door and we were going to take him out, and he waits for his leash, we'll say, do you want to go to the mailbox? Do you want to go to the mailbox? And he'll kind of wait for his leash, he'll wait there. But if we start talking about something and the door's open, and the timing was just a little bit longer.
He'll take his opportunity.
Yeah,
and
he'll go
through.
down the stairs. But
Okay.
he doesn't go between your legs and try to run out the minute the door is open.
Okay. All right. So we've got he doesn't come when called. What are the other issues? Anything else you want to talk about today?
Well, he eats dirt.
Okay.
He eats dirt wherever he can find it. So we have potted plants that we put big stones in them because he's eating all the dirt out.
Okay.
And then about 20 seconds to a minute, he vomits it up.
That's lovely.
Isn't that nice?
That's great, Jake. Good thing you're small. It's a little bit of vomit.
Yeah.
So outdoors he eats dirt. Inside he
Outdoors.
eats dirt. In your email you said something about the boot tray.
Yes, so if he can't get to the dirt in the plants, because we've now kind of covered the dirt, he's been going to the boot tray, and he'll find little pebbles in the bottom of the tray from our boots from outside,
Right.
and he just starts licking those up and eating those.
Funny. And so has he been checked out by a vet?
Yes, he's been checked by a vet, and when we brought him to the vet and we told the vet this, the vet looked at Jake and said, "Don't do that, Jake."
Did it help? Thank God.
No, it didn't help.
Everybody want to know, who's
We're
that?
like,
I'm going to go and have this.
Don't
Okay.
do that. Yeah, we were just worried that he might have like a mineral deficiency.
Yeah.
Something.
Right. So have you tried anything besides prevention with dirt eating? I know I saw the plants. They've got big rocks in them. I think that's a great idea.
Just if we notice that he's wandering to eat while we have him on a leash, we'll say, no, he can't eat any dirt.
Okay.
But if he does eat it, then we wait before we bring him in the house, and then he vomits outside.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So sometimes when a dog eats at like non-food things like that, it is called pica.
Pica,
Just the same as with people. I don't know what causes it, and I don't know what to tell you to prevent it. I would have thought the same thing, some sort of mineral deficiency. Is he on a good quality food? And
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been on the same food for almost ever since. When we first got him, they recommended a particular food that, and we got a big bag of that, and it lasted forever. But then after that, we couldn't really get it, so we switched brands. But we've had him on the same brand now. We give him a bowl of the kibbles, and then put maybe 3 teaspoons of ground meat dog food.
On top.
So, besides going to a different vet and getting a different opinion, I don't have any big ways to stop pica. I think the preventative that you've done with the big rocks in the pots is excellent. If you see him eating dirt outside, you wait before you bring him in. That resolves a lot of problems. You'd think that eating dirt and then the throw up would be close enough together that he would put those 2 behaviors together so he wouldn't eat dirt, right? If we eat something that we determined is bad for us and caused us an upset stomach, most people wouldn't go back and eat it again. But if it's a pica kind of thing, then the motivation for him to eat it is something else, and I can't really address that. So I think your management things that you've done are really good, and I wouldn't, besides teaching him to leave it, which I don't even know if that would really work for the dirt, depending on the level of his motivation to really get to that dirt. It seems pretty strong. And then you had mentioned something about house training.
Yes, so like I said in the beginning, we carried him down the stairs to go potty. So whenever he had accidents in the house, we just attributed that to, well, he wasn't potty trained as well because he was so small that he couldn't get outside and it got to be cold in the winter. And so we got on a pretty good routine of taking him out. If we're gone for a long time, there might have been accidents in the house. And then someone had suggested to me just recently that maybe I should try puppy pads. And I got the heavier duty ones, not the thin ones, and I put them by the back door because that's where he might go poop. And sure enough, he started to use them.
Good.
So we were like, this was easy.
Right. Okay. So are his accidents mostly at night when you're sleeping, and if you're gone for a period of time, or while we're here, is he likely to get up and go to the bathroom?
No, he won't do it while we're here.
Okay. Because he'll ask, or you just let him out on a schedule?
Yeah, he makes it known that he needs to go out. He doesn't really go number 2 too much during the day. But what he'll do is at night, if we keep him in the bedroom, then there's no problem.
Okay.
But if he's allowed to roam the house at night, then we'll find something over by the door.
Okay.
Or somewhere near there. Or maybe there's a little rug over here that he goes on sometimes. As far as peeing, I think it's really just a case of when we're gone for a long time and the poor dog has to go.
Right.
He doesn't have much choice. But it would be nice if he would do it in the right place, I guess.
Right. So have you had has he targeted those puppy pads for peeing?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And have you had occasion to leave him for a longer period of time?
I think we have. I mean, longer periods. Yeah, because we just went off.
We might leave him for pretty much a whole work day. I mean,
Yeah, like a work day.
We don't work, but we might be gone from 9 to 4 or something like that.
And he's okay at that in that time period?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might pee during
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we recently had this rug cleaned, and we noticed that he has not peed on it since it's been cleaned. So
Great.
hopefully that was something that he might have just thought, this is where I'm supposed to go. And so the rug has been cleaned, and the pee-pee pad is by the door, and we put a scent on it that we bought, and he's just been very good.
Good. Good.
Very good.
Okay. So he doesn't go to the bathroom in the bedroom when the door is closed because dogs they're hardwired generally to not eliminate where they have to eat or sleep. So closing the bedroom door just takes away his option of wandering around and finding a place far from where he's eating or sleeping to go to the bathroom. So that's a nice way to solve the problem. The pee pads, if you guys are happy with that and he's targeting them and you're not looking all over the house for a mistake, there's nothing wrong with that either. And it's interesting that he'll ask, like you said very clearly, he'll let you know that he has to go out because 95% of dogs I work with that have some sort of a house training issue are usually have an incomplete house training, and 99% of them don't ask to go out. The owners have always let them out every 2 hours or every 3 hours, and then when that schedule is disrupted, the dog doesn't know what to do or how to ask to go out. So he does ask to go out. It just sounds like maybe it's a duration issue, that if you're gone too long,
Yeah.
he just can't
Yeah.
handle it. Was he ever crated as a puppy?
Yes, as a very young puppy he was, but we haven't crated him.
Okay. So that would be the only other suggestion when you're gone during the day, if you're worried about it, and if it were really, you have to find it horribly unacceptable, usually to sort of bring that crate back out and change your behavior so his behavior will change. But like I said, if he's targeting the pee pads and that's working, that's great. And shampooing this rug was an excellent idea, because dogs will go by scent. So they will sniff around for the best place to go, and usually the best place to go is where someone else has gone or where they've gone previously. So eliminating the scent from the rug sort of removes that
That was
option
so
as a
good.
bathroom for him, right? It's not to say he'll never go on it again, but if by eliminating the scent here and saying, hey, look, here's a place over here that smells much more like the bathroom for you, then that's what he's doing. Great. So we don't have to talk too much more about that. Look at you, you're being the perfect little
I know.
the little dog. Yes, you are. He's very cute. So let's talk about come when called, and I feel fairly confident that if you sort of follow this routine I'm going to give you, that he should be coming fairly quickly in not too long a period of time. And the only reason I'm saying that is he's had 7 years of not coming when called, 7 years of scavenging in the woods, and he just kind of hangs out and waits, and someone comes and gets him and gives him a lift back.
Yeah.
So
That's right. Yeah.
I would bet that there's some part of him that enjoys that carrying back. You're not removing him from the fireplace or the bed or someplace where he doesn't want to be disturbed. That sounds like a minor level of resource guarding, but he's not following through with anything, so it's not a big deal. But it would be nice if you didn't have to go traipsing through the woods and you could get him to come back to you.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about how dogs learn and learning theory. And I always feel like I burst people's bubbles, but as much as we know that dogs are animals, they are animals, and they're really looking out for his best interest. That's what he's doing. Like, what's in it for me? What's going to get me the most bang for my buck for the least amount of energy expenditure, right? And learning theory is
He's saving up a lot of energy.
right. It's actually very scientific, and we don't have to get down into the nitty-gritty, but we need to make it worth his while to come when you call him. And we're not going to use the word come, because you've probably been saying it for 7 years and it's meaningless to him. I have these great neighbors next door, and they have 2 dogs, and they have a new puppy. And they are out there, come, Fluffy, Fluffy, come, because it means something to us. The English word means something to us, just like if I said, would you like an apple? We know what an apple is. But to the dog, come, sit, down, any other word that we want them to know has no meaning unless we make it meaningful to him. So come is meaningless to him. He's heard it for 7 years, and there's been nothing to back it up. And so we're gonna. My suggestion is you make it now, or unless there's some other word that just sort of naturally comes to you when you want to say, Jake. I say now to my dog, and I had now as my come when called word, because my family would say come ad nauseum and teach the dog that it meant nothing. But when I said now, I made it meaningful to the dog so that Thor would be like, yep, now, boom, right? And it just seemed natural for me to go out and say now to him than some other word. So we can talk about a word. So to make it in his best interest, I'm going to audition some different little pieces of food treat, and we'll use very small pieces for him because he's a small dog, and we don't want to upset his stomach. You said he gets gurgly stomach, and then he gets scared because he doesn't know where the noise is coming from, so we don't want to traumatize him.
Okay.
And you can also use that wet food that you mentioned that you feed him with, as long as he has to think it's fantastic. It can't be mediocre, because it's not going to be worth his while to leave whatever it is in the woods that attracts him to come back here. the other thing that a lot of people do is their dog will be outside and they'll call them and the dog will come in and then they close the door and good dog, a little pat on the head, and then they go about their day and the dog's like, what? So from the dog's perspective, that's almost a punishment. Because I'm outside, I'm playing with the ball, or I'm running around with you, or whatever it is I'm doing, and you called me, hi, come in, and there's nothing, or sometimes people call their dog and then they go off to work. So the dog has come in the house, and then they get left alone. So is the dog motivated to come back in the house? No. So it's going to be about motivation, making it worth his while to come quickly, to come the first time, to come right up to you and not sit and wait for you to go and pick him up and give him the lift back to the house.
Yep.
And the way we're going to do it is with a game of hide and seek, and we're going to do that in here first. So let's see. You've probably been able to. So this is just a little piece of cheese. And make sure he eats it, not just plays with it. Is that pretty good? So cheese is pretty good. And what's nice with the small dogs is we don't have to, over. So this is a little bit of natural balance. It's right here in my hand still.
He'll sit for you if you ask him.
Jake, sit. Oh. So natural balance, that's pretty good too. Well, that's great. And this is a little bit of homemade liver treat, which is usually like doggy crack. No, maybe not. It's too wet. Sit.
I think he likes it.
Yeah.
No, good. He likes everything. That'll be easier to motivate. All right, so we've got stuff that he's going to work for. What we're going to do is you need to be very generous, and we'll have to play with the generosity factor, because if we pump him full of food and then he has diarrhea or he throws up, you're not going to be motivated to change his behavior. You're going to keep going and looking for him in the woods, because at least I've not added some other, nasty bodily function to your day with him. And so we'll use little pieces. And the way that hide and seek works is I will hold him. I'm going to give each of you a little piece of treat. And I want you to prime the pump. So you're going to come show it to him, and then you're going to walk away quickly to the other side of the room. And I'm still going to hang on to him until you call him. And initially, we can just start with his name until he starts to get the game. When he gets to you, what I'm going to ask you to do, get another tiny little nose. Come here, Jake. So let's say he's just come in to me. I'm going to, if I can, take his collar, and then I'm going to treat him. You're not going to ask for the sit. And the reason is we are going to work associative learning, that when my hand comes out and I grab his collar, the food follows. So when you're outside, and this will take a little while before we get outside, he'll learn, oh, come, grab my collar, because that is also the predictor of the food coming, as well as coming to you. Okay.
Good.
Look at you, you're so food motivated. I know.
Yes.
You can start talking to me now? Okay, so we'll do that just a couple of times, and the goal of hide and seek is that you will very gradually make it slightly harder for him to find you. Nobody liked the kid when you were playing hide and seek as a kid that went under the bed and nobody could ever find them. So we can't make it that hard for him initially. But the final goal is he's outside. When you say his name, Jake, or we start to use now, whatever you want to say, that he has been trained to follow where your voice is coming from. That you don't have to be standing in front of him in sort of that traditional obedience come when called, where everybody just, stood straight and said, Fido, come, one time. And there are times when you should not keep calling him and times when you should, but for the most part, if you see him and he's sniffing something, by all means, wait until he's done reading. Let him get that information of whatever he's sniffing. And then when he looks up, now's your opportunity to say, Jake! Call him now and cheerlead him in, because your competition out here is tremendous. And you need to be the most motivating thing verbally, animation, as well as what we're going to pay him for when he gets there. So if he comes from the woods, you know, I don't know how a football's field length, let's just say for talking, you give him one little piece, yeah, that's probably not worth his while. He probably won't repeat that again. But if the further he comes, the more reinforcements he needs.
Good.
Okay? All right, so let's get you guys a few little pieces of treats. You're all ready for this, aren't you?
I know. 'Cause I know this inside the house stuff. I'm going to be good.
Right, but we're going to make it a little more challenging. I know you said when you can walk around the corner and he can come. But he needs a bigger foundation of, he needs a reinforcement history, which he doesn't really have right now, even in the house. In the house, there's not a lot of competition. I know, hang on, I'm breaking it up into tiny little pieces. The last dog we had was very big in comparison. I'm going to zip this up. Hang on, let me just take you by the collar. So each of you just sort of divide those up. And the first time you call him, you're not even going to need to show it to him because he knows it's there. So Janice, let's have you just walk around the corner of that couch. He's still going to see you. And you're going to call him and be ready to grab his collar and then feed him at least 2 pieces of what you have.
2 pieces. Jake.
Grab his collar.
There you go.
Good. Now you hang on to him, Okay. And David, you're going to call him back right where you are.
Jake,
Grab his collar.
come here. Here we go.
Good. And give him 2 pieces. And Janice, can you walk down just in front of that shelving maybe? And David, let's have you go, I don't know, maybe back by this piano. So you can be partially hidden. No, keep going further. So he's going to come a little bit further to you. Yes, that's perfect. So do you have 3 or 4 pieces to give him?
I've got, how many pieces should I give him? I've got 4.
I'd give him 3 for this one.
Okay. Jake. Jake.
Good. That was very nice.
There you go.
All right. So that looked really nice, and it's funny to watch him come over here to where you were and then realize, oh, you've moved her over here, and that's exactly what we want him to do. Not only is it reinforcing because he's getting paid to come when called, but it's also fun for him to now search for you, okay? So we've done some fairly easy ones. So if you can, Dave, either pick him up or hold on to his collar, because I don't want him to follow Janice. Good, and you give him a little piece for just grabbing his collar. And Janice, let's just have you come down the hall just past that stand. And you're going to call him. Jake. There you Good, and grab his collar.
Grab the collar.
And give him a couple of pieces of that, because that was a much longer distance. Hang on to him.
There you go.
And David, let's have you come just like stand on that first step. Then you're going to be slightly out of his sight. Yep, stand right up on that first step. There you go. So you may need to call him more than once, and you'll be able to see what he's doing. Whenever you're ready, David.
Jake. Boy. Oh,
Good, grab his collar.
Oh, that's a good boy. There you go. You want another piece? There
And
you go. Good boy.
Can we just open this door right here and just step in there? Whatever is this middle room.
Okay. You stay
So
right here.
keep the door open so that he'll be able to see if Blazes fly.
That's a good boy.
And remember, if you need to, you can say his name more than once. Whenever you're ready, Janice. Jake! Jake! Good. That's great.
Good boy.
Good.
Good.
All right, so let's go on back and we'll regroup and talk about that for a minute.
Good boy.
All right. So he's clearly enjoying this, right? It's a lot of fun. He's very food motivated. So you're going to get a little of that barking, kind of jumping stuff. As long as you don't treat him when he's doing it, you will not be, you won't be getting more behavior like that. But if you, oh, isn't he cute? And you haphazardly reach down and you give him something for it, just know that you've communicated to him, do that again. Okay. Right now we're just working on the come and called. He's very sound savvy, and yes, that he knows the house, but he picked up right away this last time. Oh, she's in the room. I'll go in there. And he picked up very quickly because you didn't say it a second time. I thought he was going to go running right over to the door, but he looked. He said he's not there. Where is he? So he stopped and he looked around. As you start to hide more, you should definitely be saying his name more to help him.
Okay.
And the person that's watching can, you know, like let's say, Janice, you've called him and he's looking around for you. You will often hear the dog, "Tut, tut, 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 tut," and then you'll hear them stop because they're waiting for you to say something. So that they know, do I go here or do I go here?
Oh, we
So
call him
absolutely, yes. So absolutely, Jake, you can clap. You want to bring him in as much as possible like that. After you did this, you have an upstairs? And is there a downstairs?
Yes.
Okay. So when you could get him to find you upstairs, and then let's say, David, you're upstairs, you're holding on to him, and you're calling him downstairs, and he's listening. He may not find you smoothly. He may stop and listen. That's all perfectly okay. You are going to give him a lot more reinforcement for that. That's a much larger behavior unit than just these little back and forth things, okay? And what you give him is important as well. So in your mix, there's some cheese, there's some natural balance, and there's some homemade liver treats. In my experience, the hierarchy would be natural balance is yummy, cheese is a little bit better, and the liver treats are usually, over the top. So I wouldn't generally use liver treats for inside. I would save that specifically for the outdoors so that the deer and the smells and the squirrels and whatever else that he's out there hunting around for, the liver will trump that.
Good,
Okay?
okay.
So when he's very proficient in the house and he totally has this game and you have good reinforcements going, then we'll do it outside. But we're not going to go from inside to outside in the same day because he's not ready for that. And his history is, take off outside.
We will take
so
off.
we're going to build the foundation inside, make him successful inside, and then when you go outside, you're going to put him on a leash. And do you have a regular 6-foot leash type of thing?
We have a retractable.
Okay, so that not unusual with small dogs. I would suggest, and you can get something even thinner than this, but that you just have them on a leash outside.
Okay.
Right, so here we're holding the collar, you're going to have them on the leash, and you're going to start to play the game outside. And you will go right back down to a very short distance to make sure that he's still got it, to make sure when he gets there he likes what you have. If you offer him something and he sniffs it and goes away, then don't play the game because you won't be reinforcing him. You'll actually be punishing him by putting, I was trying to think of a food I didn't like to give you an example, but there is one. Well, I don't like liver, liver. I feed it to the dogs, but I don't like it. So if you said, "Oh, that was such a great job, Denise, have this liverwurst sandwich," it would be like, I would not want to do that again, right? It wouldn't be it wouldn't be meaningful to me. It would be, but not in the way you wanted. And then you'll slowly start to hide outside, okay? And one of the hiding spots, so I usually do this 3 times, and then that's good, and then I'll do it 3 times the next day, should be practice to call him right in through the door.
Oh, good.
So he comes right in through the door, and then he gets paid big time. So does he get bones or any sort of edible chew things that you give him on special occasions?
We
Anything like-
give him milk bones as his treat. We break them up into little tiny pieces. But no, if we give, no, we don't.
Okay, that's all right. So I don't want to start anything that's going to upset his stomach. No. But know that when you call him in, let's say, all right, so you've got, I don't know, maybe 10 pieces of treats there. So when you call him in the house, I don't want you to just open your hand and give him 10 pieces. I want you to dole them out 10 times. It's more meaningful to him than having just a handful. Okay? So that, wow, you want him to when are they going to call me in? When are they going to call me in? He may not leave your side when you're outside and you're starting to play this game. You will have to have little cookies in your pocket so that you can reinforce him when he comes to you, because being with you has got to be the best thing for him, in his looking out for his own best interest, than doing anything else in the woods.
And we have him on the leash because
he has a history of running away. So we don't. Yep.
Get him.
And it's going to be a little bit easier to hang on to him. Here we hung on to the collar. So I would hang on to him by the leash. You'll walk away, Janice, you'll call him. He'll just drag this behind him. I still want you to try to grab the collar, but if you can't, you can always leash and then take hold of the collar and then treat. Okay?
Okay.
Good.
Great.
Got that.
All right, so the dirt eating we can't do much about. This may help with that because he's going to
Right.
have something completely else to do. You
Right.
could also reinforce him with high value toys. So if he really likes that squeaky toy,
Doesn't he?
he could come in the house and then you could, play with him for 3 or 4 minutes with the toy and skid it around. So he's like, wow, that's fantastic. Whether it works outside, you'll just have to see whether it trumps the stuff outside. But he's very food motivated.
He loves his food, don't
That
you?
is great.
Don't you?
Yes, he does. Now, if you wanted to get rid of the growling on the bed, you could use food to say, get off. And as soon as he got off, you could feed him for being off the bed. He'll probably start
Oh,
jumping
that's a
off the
good-
bed all by himself pretty quick.
Down, Jake.
It's not that big a deal because he's not.
Yeah, that's kind of the growling, I know. It's just
Is that what he does when he's on the bed?
a little bit deeper, a
that's
little bit
funny.
more meaningful. This is sort of like, I know you have food in your hand.
All right.
You do know that, don't you?
Great. So that's all we're going to do today because we can't, you can't go too fast. You sort of have the foundation. Feel free to call or email me. This is what we've done. What do we do next? Because I'm very happy to do that. And I think, depending on how often you do this, if you did this with him daily, I think you'd have a great come when called very quickly outside within a month or
Nice.
so.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Good.
We're going to do that for you, Jake. You're going to do that for us.
Yes, he is.
Yes, you
And then
are.
he can enjoy your beautiful
Enjoy,
yard and the
yes.
view, and you guys can relax and not have to be worried about, is he at the neighbors? Is he up there?
Right.
Wherever he
yeah.
is. I mean,
He's just,
it's silly. I go to a lot of houses like this that have a gorgeous yard. Like, they're not on a busy road. It seems sinful to not have the dog running around loose, yet the dog has not learned that it's worth his while to come back when he's called, so he spends his
that's
time
right.
running away.
That's exactly right. And we want you to be able to enjoy the yard and the ball. And,
Right.
Yeah, we'll be there and we'll let you know.
All right.
Good. Good.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I look forward to seeing you next week.
If you have a doggy dilemma, Denise can help. Visit www.denisemazzola.com for more information. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer tested through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. The association requires recertification every 3 years with a minimum of 30 hours of continuing education. She has been training dogs and working with families for over 20 years.